Good evening, gentlemen. It is your boy Sir Yeetus. Welcome to Yeetus News. I'm here to address these couple of situations that are just straight up out of control. I was even caught off guard. Not too many things in this world anymore can catch me off guard. But the shit that's been happening with what's it called? Balenciaga and the Ye situation when he went on the Info Wars with Alex Jones. Holy shit. We definitely gotta address that. Oh, it's about to go down. Okay? But before we begin, you already know your boy Great Ghost is gonna be hopping on here so we can uh break this apart, get to the meats and potatoes. Also, if you want to support your boy Sir Yeetus, there's a link on top of the chat. Cash App /Sir Yeetus. Any donation is appreciated. Thank you very much for even being here because it's pretty much midnight or the middle of the night where you at. Okay, because I know I postponed this stream from yesterday. I was way too fucked up. I was lost in the sauce. I didn't want to be that guy to hop on a stream and just start fucking rambling about nonsense. So thank you for being patient. I'm here, ready to go. And here's the one, the only Grey Ghost. What's going on, Grey Ghost?
Hey, who's the most predictable man on the internet?
Who?
Not Yeez.
Oh, dad jokes. We got dad jokes today. God damn it. What is that noise in the background?
Mild hum kind of noise.
Yeah, it's like a white noise in the back.
That's probably my computer fan. 1 sec. I'll adjust the gate.
Your computer fan is on overdrive right now. What you doing, man?
No, my mic's just sensitive, and I'm trying it at a new angle.
Oh, okay. God damn, like, how powerful is your fan if you're able to hear it that well?
Oh no, like this thing will hear like a gentle tap, like this.
Yeah.
Like that's just a gentle tap. Like this mic is just really sensitive. That's why I'm always fiddling with the settings on it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Mics these days are getting too good. But IY fan, Sim Pool is the most predictable person on the internet. I agree. In my opinion, he is a professional fence sitter.
You know, I wonder if you had an AI listen to all of Tim Pool's videos and then uploaded a news article to it, could you have it write his script?
Yes, I believe that could happen.
Precisely.
But man, hopefully, I don't know what you're doing with that computer, man. Is it the AI stuff? Is that what is make your computer go on overdrive or?
No, that's the thing. It normally sounds like this. I literally just changed the angle of the mic.
Okay, because I can still hear it pretty well. This is new to me.
I'll put the mic back to where it was before.
Did you get a new mic?
No, it's the same mic.
God damn. Okay. Well, it's whatever. It is what it is. So, the one thing I want to address, actually, two things I want to address, is the Balenciaga ad scandal, which I thought it was the most disgusting, blatant shit that I've ever seen. And I'm definitely going to bring up the article. Give me 1 second, because this is the most recent article, but I definitely want to get down to business on this one. Now, have you heard about the ad scandal?
Yeah, I've actually got it pulled up on the Independent, and it's got a whole bunch of different. It's got a timeline of articles, basically.
What's your overall opinion before we get to the details? What's your overall perspective on this situation?
Well, the thing is, I've actually done corporate photography before, so this is not something that just slipped through. Like first, you have to have the idea put together. Then you have to have the props acquired. You have to have all the actors contacted. You have to have all the sign-offs. Every single step of this has to be approved by somebody, even if it's offloaded to a separate studio to come up with the concept on their own. There is someone from corporate, like there during the shoot, and before anything happens, before the day is done, the photos, or at least the roughs of them, have to be sent off to headquarters to be approved. So, like, this shit had to be approved at multiple levels.
Which is fucking insane in my opinion. I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, okay, let's bring it up right quick, chat, before we even get to details. Let me share this bad boy. Do. All right, you guys can see it. Is it good? Hold up.
Yeah, looks visible on the YouTube side.
All right, let's do the full screen layout. Make your screen full screen, chat, if you can't see it well, but we're gonna break it down Barney style. Okay, this article came out yesterday actually, and it says Balenciaga designer Gemma finally addresses BDSM ad scandal. Apologize. Why the fuck are you apologizing now? You okay? Let's read it a little bit. Okay. After weeks of silence, Balenciaga's controversial creative director, Gemma, has finally addressed the BDSM ad scandal, torch online for incorporating children with bondage gear and allegations of normalizing sexual fetishization and abuse of children, which I completely agree 1,000,000%. Who in their right fucking mind think that that is okay? Like, I would never thought that in 2022 a major corporation will think that it's normal to even do that shit in the first place. Well, what's
Okay,
your what's up?
here's the thing. These you got to look at this, like everything here is about them passing the buck. Like they might say like, "Oh, I apologize." Like you're not taking responsibility. You're not taking anything. You're just a public apology. If we look further ahead, like we got to scroll. We got to scroll further down, like to actually get to the real meat. Like a bunch of this is just fucking bullshit. 90% of these words don't mean anything. So just keep scrolling down. Keep scrolling down till we find out how they got this idea.
Oh, they ain't gonna
because keep in mind because that's the thing. I thought I saw above that they've said something about third parties supplying stuff.
Okay, so this shit right here is very disturbing to see, but at least to me, it's pretty disturbing. Where is it at? For the uninitiated, the top fashion label came under fire after running a problematic campaign featuring young children modeling with what appears to be teddy bears wearing bondage gear. Meanwhile, another ad showed what appears to be legal documents from a Supreme Court case that ruled on federal laws regarding child pornography. What?
Like that's the thing. For right now, here's where it comes to me. Who supplied the props?
Who did supply the Balenciaga?
Because that's the keep scrolling. We have to find that's the only thing that matters. Who supplied the props?
I know, but I'm doing the overall premises so the chat can understand. Yeah. This I did not know that they made another ad about legal documents about this. That's fucked up. But let's keep going.
That's what's really curious to me, because that to me says that someone financed this.
Okay, right here. We're going to read the second paragraph. It says, "Oh, please," Liriano said of the Vetment's co-founder. Gemma doesn't put out one image that he hasn't approved. Gemma is not only the creative director, he's driving all the imagery behind the campaigns. To blame a production is completely nuts.
Exactly. Well, yeah, absolutely. Like the guy who, like, if you come up with the ad and then you're like, "Hey, people, make this," and then you're like, "What? Oh, I didn't mean for it to be like this." Like, motherfucker, they sent you the fucking proofs and you had to say, "Okay, that's good."
And I honestly, because I'm lost for words a bit, because I never thought that in my lifetime that they're going to be pushing this mainstream, right? There's sick fucks out there that we keep putting their foot on their necks for the longest time. But in 2022, they're definitely trying their best to normalize this shit. Don't, and I don't want to hear from the motherfuckers about, "Oh, it's just a toy. Why are you doing that? Why are you do sexual life?" It's BDSM fucking gear on a teddy bear. No. That's fucked up. And whoever says otherwise, something's wrong with you as well, in my opinion. We don't normalize this shit. We should never normalize this shit. Nothing should be associated sexually with children. What do you have to say about that, Gray?
Straight up, and like that's the thing. You like when you bring up how prominent pedophilia is getting, and the person you're talking with all of a sudden gets angry and defensive. You make a mental note, like I don't want this person anywhere near my kids.
Shit.
I don't want this person
yeah.
near any kids related to the family. He's like, no, this person is sus.
Anywhere near kids or me. Because I would definitely deck that person in the fucking jaw. I don't care if it's a man or woman. A predator is a predator in my eyes, right? But unfortunately, the double standards that we have in society today is one gender that's a predator gets a lot more preferential treatment than the other gender.
Yeah, well,
like they get rewarded for being predators. The female predators, they get rewarded for it.
we've done, that song and dance.
I know. I'm just saying. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who it is, male or female. This shit, the fact that a major, this was like a design company or a clothing company, I don't know what to call it. This major company pushed this gentleman. If this doesn't send a shiver down your spine, I don't know what will. Because never in my life, I never thought that this would be the day that we are seeing this shit on mainstream media. Like, yes, I believe it's wood chip. Yeah, hold up. Yeah, I believe it's wood chipper time. And anybody that disagrees, you're part of the problem. You are a major part of the problem. Because, like what Gray said, he was in this industry. And this doesn't, it has to go through what? Like how many loops? Like how many approvals it has to go through? Like a shit ton, right?
Yeah, like at the very, like I said, the creative director is the one at the very top. Literally no project is going to go through and get approved without him putting his personal fucking stamp on it. Like when you're the creative director, that is literally your job. This should be like the director of a fucking bomb of a movie that's getting a whole bunch of hate going, what? I didn't mean it to be like that. It's the fault of the actors and the filmmakers and the production company. I, as the director, certainly didn't mean for it to be like that.
Yeah, bullshit. I agree. Oh, you're lying out your fucking teeth right now. It's so ridiculous. And what I mean by, yeah, I understand that there was some backlash to the point where Balenciaga deleted their, I think it was Twitter account. They deleted their account because of the amount of backlash. But at the same time, my opinion is, why isn't there more backlash? Why isn't there some like pretty much on the point of BLM protest level backlash over this?
Because all the people who are against it have jobs and lives and aren't protected by the law.
Fair enough. I'll give you that one. But I'm just saying, we are living in a very weird, creepy clown world, gentlemen. The fact that I'm able to pull this up on a major news company such as the New York Post, that should be scary to you. And do you really think that Balenciaga is truly sorry about this shit?
They're sorry they got caught.
Exactly. And in my opinion, I personally believe that it didn't matter if they got caught or not. They're testing the waters at the moment.
Well, and that's exactly the thing. Like they see how far they can push it, and then as soon as something finally gets pushed back, they go, "Oh, well, we're sorry. We didn't mean it that way." And then they back off, and then they'll subliminally put stuff in there, and then they'll push it forward again. And like that's the thing. The documents being that specific, that's not an accident. Like, you have to intentionally get those documents. So either they printed those documents themselves and put them in there, or they were supplied with them. Like, they either chose those documents or someone said, hey, use these documents as the props. Because otherwise you just use some lorem ipsum or something. There is no way that you do a child-related shoot with a BDSM teddy bear and the document, and you happen to shoot legal documents, which why the fuck are you shooting legal documents in a kid's fashion thing? There's no way that that is an accident. There is no way.
There is no way. I completely agree, right? And then people want to act all dumb and confused. I'm talking about people in the West, but more specifically the United States. They act all confused on why conservative countries, especially countries in the Middle East, sees us as the devil country. Because look at this shit. Look at this. You know, as a collective, we should be on a fucking crusade.
Now,
to
keep
stop
in
this
mind,
shit.
like, this is a Spanish company. Like, this shit's in Spain.
I still
So-
consider them Western, though.
Yeah, but it's not like there's going to be riots in the streets of the United States over something that's happening in a Spanish company.
But my thing is, Spain, United States, wherever it is, but mainly Spain. There's no gigantic outroar. Like, and I know why, because you explained it earlier. I'm just pissed off that there isn't any bigger backlash. Because this is 100% a good reason to have gigantic backlash. But
Well, here's the thing. This is where it comes to, okay, well, what kind of backlash can be done? Because, like, I guarantee, like, you can't go freaking BLM Antifa on these guys. They're not McDonald's. They're not Wendy's. They don't have a bunch of chains in freaking poor ass areas that you could fiery but mostly peacefully protest at.
well, here's my thing then. I know that Balenciaga mainly go towards women, right? Because Kim Kardashian rocks that shit. I forgot to mention about Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. Here's what you do. You treat, like, because this is the thing with fashion brands. There's usually a label. You see that label, you openly treat that person with disgust.
But here's the fucked up part. The fact that Kim Kardashian is the face of this label because she wears Balenciaga everything. It's I agree. At this point, it is very difficult to even, go against it. Because once again, influencers, they have a lot of influence in 2022.
Yeah. No, but it's quite simple. It's like, look, if like you just treat anyone who likes Kim Kardashian, like, basically you look, like, you have to look at what would your enemy, okay, look at it this way. What would our enemies do to us were the situation reversed?
Oh, definitely. If it's not actual violence, we will be canceled to fucking infinity and beyond.
Okay, yeah, okay, but we don't have the power to that. No, like, what?
I'm just saying.
Think
if
about
the left was mad at us-
yes, but think about what Twitter used. Okay, let's flip it over for a second and look at Kanye. Okay, let's use him as a compare and contrast. If you go out right now and say that you like Kanye West and you're a fan of him, how is the left going to treat you?
like lower the dirt.
Good. That's what you do to anyone who says they're a fan of Kim Kardashian.
See, and that's the fucked up part because it's a numbers game as well, right? Well, we're outnumbered like 30-1. Like, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I completely agree with you saying. Treat them as such. But when there's majority rules and the fan base is pretty much a collectivism.
Okay, no, but you got to keep in mind the different tolerance levels. These are people who only say and do this stuff for approval. We don't give a fuck. They do give a fuck. we use their tactics against them because they're not using these tactics because they're effective against us, but because it's effective against them.
Well, oh shit, hold up. Okay, yeah, the shaming tactics at this point in time, I do agree it would work, but in my opinion, to a degree. I know any progress is good progress at this point, especially with this particular topic.
Yeah, look,
But
if all, like, it doesn't matter if your opponent has an assault rifle and you got a fucking BB gun, you provide the goddamn covering fire with what you have.
all right, I'm here. I have to open up a drink. I completely agree. I agree with what you're saying, but I'm just saying right now, that's why I believe there isn't a bigger outrage than it should be, right? Because somebody said earlier in the chat, let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. Give me a second. Give me a second. Do. Bam. I forgot about this chick. It's been forever. The left ate shoe on head for talking about this due to the nightclub shooting. You know, and that's that one conservative. I wouldn't call her conservative. I'll say she's a chat thought because her nudes are like all over the internet. But whatever. She got ate alive because once again, you know, it's not. We will talk about the Kanye thing very soon, chat. But when it comes to the alphabet community, you're not allowed to criticize the alphabet community. You're not allowed to criticize progressive people in today's society, right? That's why this company, the Balenciaga, was bold enough to even put this out in the first place. And right now, I personally believe shaming isn't as strong of a weapon anymore. Like it will only resort to if this shit keeps up, and I don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but let's say if this type of shit keeps up, it's going to end up in actual violence.
Okay, but guess what? Like, why is that a bad thing?
Oh, I never said it was a bad thing.
Like, but that's the thing. Like, like, you fucking don't fight or push back against these people the slightest bit, and it's like, well, it'll lead to violence. Okay, good. Well, guess what? All you need to do is piss them off enough that they throw the first punch, and then you put their head through a plate glass window.
Yeah, do it twice.
Like, that's the thing. Like, you find these people, get them fucking emotionally riled up because they are emotionally rile upable. Like, it is so fucking easy to do. It's so easy to rile these people up that they demand fucking safe spaces and controlled language just so that they can function, or not even for them, but on fucking people that they know. Like, these people are emotionally sensitive and starve for attention and starve for approval. Fucking shaming them, actually shaming them and looking at them with disdain and disgust like they are scum will hurt them. And if they throw a punch, if they escalate to violence, good. Don't leave them alive to sue you.
And chat, like, I know it seems that me and Gray are pretty riled up about this, but we have a very good reason why we're riled up about this. Because, like, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it over and over again. Never in my life I thought that we would get to this point. I never thought ever I'm going to be seeing this on the New York Post. This is fucked. I'm sure that you guys in the chat could agree. Like, I still can't believe that I can't believe this is even an article right now. Like, it's like, what do you have to say about that, Greg? Because, like, I still cannot comprehend this current situation. I never thought that I'll be seeing this shit on mainstream news. It's crazy to me, man.
It's like, no, that's the thing. I'm fucking numb to that kind of stuff. Like, I'm more pissed at the people who just wring their hands and talk about how bad it is. Like, look, fight back. Fight back using the weapons that are used against you.
At this point,
Like, these people would have no problem calling you every bad name in the book for just questioning shit. They'd have no problem taking away your money and ruining your life. Like, people are like, oh, hey, like, we're calling you to distance yourself from this brand celebrity. Is like, no. No more of that fucking bullshit. No more. Like, there's a phrase that I heard, and every year it is more and more hollow, and that is never assume malice where incompetence is explainable. Like, no, stop assuming that this shit is by accident. Stop assuming that people are fucking with you and the people and your life because they're just lazy or incompetent.
Like people want, people expect us to just stand by and say nothing and do nothing, and that's the most fucked up part about this entire situation. They want us to be passive about this shit.
Yeah, because that's like all this person has to say is like, I never had any intention of doing this. I absolutely don't stand for it. And for most of the population, that's all.
Okay,
that's all they have to say.
Gray, please be calm about this. But somebody has a response to your quote. What do you have to say about that one? But
Which
please
one?
be calm about this.
Well, yeah, no, that's true. That quote is a cop-out. Because like that's the thing. Like that, I don't like that quote. I'm disgusted with that quote, and I agree. It's a cop-out. It is people who are trying to avoid rocking the boat when someone is actively messing with them by saying like, oh, well, they didn't mean it. And I can't assume that they meant it. They might have just fucked up. They might have just made a mistake. They might have just been stupid. I shouldn't assume that they actively mean harm to me. Like, no. Stop assuming that people don't mean harm to you. At the very least, these people don't give enough of a shit about you that they're going to harm you without thinking about it. Either way, you should not treat them as someone who can still be your friend. As someone who you can still like and trust and hang out with. Like, no. When someone starts hurting you, it doesn't matter why they're doing it. You let them do it without any consequences, then they're going to feel okay doing it again and again and again.
John M says they are doing it. They are doing a lot of it on purpose. They tell you as much in most cases. They think they are in a position to get away with it most of the time. People very much mean you harm or willful neglect. I agree. I agree with that because there's no like once again based on Gray's explanation about how this industry works and just how bold that they're able to put this on their ads. How's that not on purpose? Like it just you can't convince me otherwise. Like people that are actually aware of what's going on and not just being mindless sheep. This shit was definitely on purpose, in my opinion. It shouldn't even be an opinion. It's a fucking fact. What the fuck? It is a straight up fact. And wait, what do you mean by that? Indifference and incompetence should be treated like
malice, yes.
Oh, it was missing a okay.
Missing the E, yeah.
I at this point, like being indifferent to the situation is dangerous. It's very dangerous, in my opinion. You cannot be indifferent.
Like that's the thing. Like if this is someone who's like, well, it was a photo shoot with kids, but it's probably harmless. Like, nah. Anyone who looks at that and sees nothing wrong with it is fucked in the head.
Agreed, and it's very well. Like once again, the only reason why I'm riled up like this is because what if I decide to have children in the future.
Now, here's the other thing.
What's
Like,
up?
this is the main thing, because now we got to think, where were these ads going?
That's a good question. I don't know.
'Cause here's the thing. Like, this was not on Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh hell no. Yeah, I
This,
agree.
like, that's the thing. This is not Saturday morning cartoons. This is not in between reruns of Barney. This is not going up on a public playground. No. This is in media that is to be consumed by adults.
When you put it that way, that makes shit so much worse. But you're speaking facts.
This was media not meant to make children okay with it. Balenciaga, this is going to be a pretty bold statement. With this shoot, Balenciaga is marketing their product towards pedophiles,
Right. You mean predators?
creeps, whatever.
Well, we don't want to say it too much because I'll get yeeted.
Yeah, I know. Like, that's.
I know what you mean.
It's marketing themselves towards those kinds of people.
Yeah, I completely
Intentionally. Because guess what? Like, if you put out, like if you did the exact same thing with adults, like, let's just assume that it was adults, and like there was no child imagery anywhere in there, no teddy bears. It was just adults wearing these same clothes with these same accessories in these same styles. You'd think it was something that would go on OnlyFans.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, man. Sorry, I'm very riled up about this shit because this is so fucked. This is so fucked in my opinion. God damn, bro.
So that's why they, like, look, you see someone wearing Balenciaga, treat that as though that person is someone who should not be trusted around children. Openly show disgust for them.
Do you have any closing statements? Let me bring this up right quick. He says, have you seen all the different Balenciaga photos on Twitter that are analyzed? No. I only seen a couple. But there's more?
Oh, again, it's a whole freaking fashion shoot thing. I wouldn't be surprised if there's more. Here's the thing. I don't want these images in my fucking search history.
Yeah, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. The only reason I'm doing this right now is because it's on the New York Post.
Like quite frankly, like I was actually thinking about it a bit earlier, and throughout all the photos that I took during my time as a photographer, I would be shocked if, like, I honestly don't think that there's images of kids, like, anywhere in any of the frames. Like,
they call us the bad guys, Gray. They call us the bad guys for calling this shit out. That's the most fucked up part about this. Like that's, man, like, what the fuck, bro? We're called the bad guys for calling this out.
Yeah, that's the thing. But to them, the bad guy is just someone who upsets them.
Right. I agree.
And that's all it is. You're a bad guy if you upset them and threaten their personal identity to make them think they're a bad person. That's why they can't take criticism and they just launch with all the bad names in the book. Because
hell no.
Because their feelings are their reality, and that is their top priority.
Did you see that chat that Alec just said? Oh hell no! Oh, I'm not even gonna read it, but I'm not surprised that actually exists. That is, what the fuck?
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
Okay, I don't want to get too riled up.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, we don't want to see that. We definitely don't want it in our computer's freaking cookie history. Like, that's the thing. Like, we just hear the descriptions of these images and that's our natural reaction. Like, we do not want this. And yet, this is being marketed towards adults.
I agree, and you're definitely not wrong on that shit, man. It's like the fact that I haven't even thought about that concept, like, because I like the topic itself is bad, but when you put it that way, where how it's marketed, holy shit, it's a million times worse.
Yeah. So that's why I think, like, you see someone wearing Balenciaga, you see someone supporting someone or being a fan of someone who supports Balenciaga, you treat them like they are supporting known people you wouldn't trust around kids.
I completely agree. I completely agree. But are you ready to move on to the second topic?
Oh yeah.
Because this topic is gonna like get me like very pissed off. Not gonna lie, like this. I need to go to Spain or something, man. Because this shit is insane. Remember, gentlemen, this is mainstream now, and we were warned about this shit a long time ago about the left, especially the people that's involved with the alphabet community. They're going to eventually try to normalize this shit. Look at what's happening now in 2022. I'm pretty sure they were telling the truth. So, all right, let's go to the second one right quick. All right, stop sharing, and we're back right here. A man with the plan. So we honestly need to use various code words for this one because Ye went fucking nuts.
Okay, so let's say the Pinwheel Party.
Yeah, the Pinwheel Party, and you can also say bad man with a mustache.
Yeah. Pinwheel Party and Bad Mustache Man.
Yeah, because what the fuck? Yay, what the like he's not wrong, but at the same time it's like what the fuck? You know, when it comes to free speech. You know.
Yeah. Well, here's finally I get to say this, but here's my personal theory.
What's up?
This is Kanye West doing hockey mask time.
Do you think that? And I was just about to say that. Do you believe that this is a straight up downward spiral and Kanye just not giving a fuck anymore based on what he's been through? Because I think it's a downward spiral.
I mean,
like, I'm not saying that he's going to be like broke and all that stuff, but at least with his reputation.
His reputation was always going. That's the thing. This is why it's an HMT, because there was never a way out of this. As soon as they decided to fuck with him, that was it. He's going to get fucked with. He's going to be dragged through the. Like, he could do absolutely nothing wrong, and he'd get graded the same way that the perfect husband will still get dragged through divorce court and be criticized as an emotional abuser.
True, I agree.
Like, that's the thing. He is snapping, and he is like, I'm going to say everything. I'm going to say everything, and I'm not going to give a fuck because it doesn't matter if they make it worse. I'm just going to hurt them as much as I can on the way down.
And don't get me wrong, Kanye, he's been like this since the beginning, right? He spoke his mind often, like the infamous situation where he was with Michael Myers, I think it was. The guy that played Austin Powers and stuff.
Yeah, Michael Myers.
Yeah, they were on a show together, and Kanye out of nowhere said, George Bush hates black people, or something like that. And Michael Myers was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, he looked at him like, what? Like, so this isn't anything new of Kanye, but at the same time, this is very nuclear of what he's doing right now. Like, this is like because like, don't get me, like, once again, I am not shocked of many things in life, but Kanye, with his position and with the scrutiny that he's going through right now, the fact that he said all that shit on Infowars, I was speechless. I was speechless. I'm like, bro, you saying that shit now? And it's funny that he was wearing a whole mask, like he couldn't see his face. I thought that was hilarious.
But that's the thing. This is where I think there's a bit of brilliance to it. Because he hasn't gone into the specifics. He is not dropping names. Like he is instead, like he is saying and doing intentionally inflammatory stuff. And do you know what it's getting people to do?
What's up?
It's getting people to talk about it.
So you do believe that? Well, actually, no. It's not even believe. It's actually, I can see Kanye doing that. Like it's Kanye West.
Like that's the thing. Like this is why. Like here's the thing. If he'd truly been losing it, I don't think he would have walked off of Tim Pool's show.
Oh, that pissed me off, bro. Before we continue with this topic, it pissed me off so much that Tim Pool fumbled the bag so fucking like, and it got to the point where Tim Pool was saying that his walkout was planned. Bullshit. Because I guarantee you, Kanye was ready to say some shit that probably shouldn't have been said on YouTube, and Tim Pool being offensive, like, Kanye, slow your roll, buckaroo. Okay.
Tim Pool knows Tim Pool knows who feeds him. That's the thing. Like Tim Pool has been so integrated into the journalism, has had so many comments from the right-hand side. Like there is no way that he isn't more than well aware of all this shit. He is not ignorant.
He's not at all. And then the fact that he fumbled the interview, and a lot of people agree, including me, that he fumbled the fuck out of that interview. And I'm sure on purpose, right? Because, like you said, you know, he needs to still get funded by.
Well, no, that's the thing. Tim's used to being in control,
right?
And as soon as, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. One syllable, it bugs me. I gotta at least call him Kanye. As soon as Kanye realized that Tim wasn't going to let him speak and was going to deflect and shift the conversation away from that topic, he was like, fuck this, I'm out. I'm not going to fight with this. My time is better spent literally anywhere else. And
my respect for Tim Pool, that the little that I had left went down the drain when he's still, till this day, right? Like it's been a few days ago, he's still milking the Ye situation from his podcast. Talking about, oh, he walked out. Oh, he was doing this. He was doing that. Oh, let's see the behind the scenes. And then everybody in the comments and stuff is like, bro, you could have had one of the greatest podcasts ever in the history of YouTube, and you fumbled that shit because not only your ego, but you were just too afraid to piss off the powers to be. It's so fucked, bro. I was mad myself because I was honestly very curious on what he had to say. And once again, Kanye was only in that podcast for like how long? Was like 30 minutes around there. And Tim was getting that money. He was getting mad money. And you telling me that you are so free speech and shit, and then you turn around and try to shut Kanye down when he's trying to speak his own mind. If you had him on for at least an hour, that would have been in my opinion, that would have been an easy $7,000 to $10,000 right there.
You think Tim would have seen a cent of it?
Well, that's his show, right?
No. Okay, yeah, but okay, just because it's his show doesn't mean that the money is going directly into his pocket. It's not like if he gets a super chat, a little tube comes down from the roof and drops dollar bills on it.
No, but do you know how much he's able to milk off that one podcast alone? If he
Yeah.
kept Kanye on?
What happened to Kanye's finances?
No, I understand what happened to Kanye when he went off on a certain group. But what I'm saying is,
So what do you think would happen to Tim if he hosts someone who went off on that certain group? Do you think that his card would work next time he went to the bank?
I see what you're saying, but personally, I would have taken that risk.
Yeah, well, you've got a thing called fucking integrity, and Tim Pool doesn't.
I agree. Well, I'm just saying, if you have somebody like Ye on, where Tim Pool had so many eyes on his, I forgot the exact number, but he had a shit ton of people watching his shit at that moment when Kanye was on that pop. I would have taken that risk personally, and I do. Like, once again, Tim Pool, professional fence sitter, right? He's only gonna go either way that fits his own agenda. So
no, but here's the thing: you're still like, Tim is not independent. There is no way that someone like Tim Pool has not been privately contacted and been told very explicitly where he stands in the pecking order.
I'm sure he got contacted by Susan. I agree.
No. Not Susan.
I'm sure
The people behind Susan.
Okay, people behind Susan.
The actual people who run shit.
John M, hold up. You have to wait like a month for the money. They would just never send it to you. See, yeah, they have the power to do that. I agree.
And they would do that.
I was monetized, so I know how the process works. But at the same time, YouTube is a private company, so they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, no, Tim knows that his popularity and continued success is entirely at the whims of these people. He knows this. And so when the people who he relies on for his continued existence, remember, Tim takes we went through his sister telling him, we know that Tim, if you take away Tim's popularity, you take away his status as a millionaire, if you take away his subscriber count, if you take away his YouTube career, who is he?
Has been.
He's a nobody.
Well, nobody, yes, but I'm talking about he's a has been as well.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's a nobody. He's a has been. And here's the thing. How many people do you think would support Tim Pool if he became a nobody and a has been?
Very, very, very small. Beyond small.
You see how he treats the people beneath him. He probably has no friends.
No, who was that one guy? Adam Kringler?
Yeah.
I'm hype about that shit because supposedly Underchronic may have a future stream with him about the situation. So I'm hype about that one. But yeah, he was definitely called out about how he treats his employees and stuff.
Yeah, he treats his employees, he treats his friends. That's the thing. Tim Pool, he has built his life in such a way that if he ever lost his power, literally everyone around him would swarm for their revenge.
Agreed. On some Julius Caesar shit.
It's not even some Julius Caesar shit.
What?
You think you thought he was fucking scared about being swatted? Nah, the dude would be scared to leave his house.
No, agreed. Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying that the first people that he's going to have to worry about is his inner circle, let alone people that are outside of his house.
Well, but I'm assuming that he doesn't live with literally everyone there. Does he even have anyone aside from his girlfriend? Not to mention, he loses that. His fucking girlfriend's gonna leave him. his entire life is dependent on his money and power. His way of life, his social circle, it's all dependent on his money, power, and influence. And
Yeah.
and he is not in control of any of that. It can all be taken away at a moment's notice. And Kanye was going to talk shit about the people who gave him that power and can take it away.
I agree. That's why I'm saying that if he lost that, then the people closest to him will be his greatest threat because they know a lot of things that normal people don't know about. So that's why I was saying that it's similar to Julius Caesar, right? Because he got attacked by his own like personal circle, pretty much. But John M. And don't get me wrong, Gray. Don't get me wrong. I definitely understand what you're saying or why Tim Pool is a professional fence sitter. And what I mean by that is he will go either way as long as it goes his way.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Professional fence sitter, I think that's just a fancy way of saying controlled opposition.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, fancy way of saying that. Yeah.
He takes that stance to be the pretend neutralizing voice. Like, oh no, I'm trying to rein in the left, but I absolutely support the left and everything that they do, and I'm pro-feminist, and I hate Trump and all that shit. Like, you ain't a fucking fence sitter, Tim. You pretend to be a fence sitter, but you're a fucking communist.
Well, damn, you're not wrong though. You're not wrong at all. I definitely see his antics and see how he goes from one extreme to another, depending on as long as it makes him seem smart. You know, it's like I don't watch him often, but when I do, I'm surprised that people don't really see how he does the flippity floppity on his points. It's crazy. But John M, he says Tim is a hard worker, even if he's not a great person. I'll agree.
I would not.
Well, at least at first he was. At first. You know how everybody they start from the bottom and all that shit. But now he's just the guy.
What's he doing that is hard work?
Telling other people what to do.
Like, I'm sorry, as someone who physically has to go outside in shitty fucking weather, like, to do heavy lifting labor. I'm sorry, if I'm getting paid 5, maybe 6 figures to talk into a microphone and edit videos, I do not call that hard work.
Right. The most I can call it is it's a bit time consuming.
Like, I'm pretty sure that I have put more effort into editing this goddamn stream highlight reel than Tim has into any of his fucking newscast videos.
Because people send the information to him. He doesn't go out to get the information. He gets
like he's not getting shit on the ground like back in the fucking Occupy days. Like, he literally is just reading someone else's article off the internet and making commentary about it. The man has been a has-been for a long time. He peaked during the Occupy movement, and he's been coasting on that ever since.
So I have a question then. So do you see a difference, and this is a random question, do you see a difference between Joe Rogan and Tim Pool when it comes to the podcast?
As someone who's barely watched any of them, at the very least, I'd say that Joe Rogan knows that as the host, his job is just to keep the guests talking.
I agree.
Like, I never got the sense that Joe Rogan was trying to control the narrative of the situation.
Which is the crazy part, because I said that Tim Pool, nobody's coming to see you. Everybody's coming to see the guests that you have. And you fucked that up when it comes to Kanye. You completely botched that shit. And now people are pissed at you. But
that's the thing. Like, Tim Pool literally thinks that he's the reason people show up.
I agreed. Yeah. He just, like I said before, his ego is just out of fucking control when it comes to this shit. It's out of control.
And that's the thing. Like, that is, again, armchair psychologist here in my fake tweed jacket with my non-existent pipe. That is where I think the insecurity comes from. Because he's not in control. He is ultimately a dog on a tight leash. And he knows it. And so he needs to be in control as much as he can be to compensate for ultimately nothing he has actually belongs to him. And his success is not based so much on his hard work, so much as him being controlled opposition.
But to put the icing on the cake, he tried to put it off as, you know, Kanye leaving the set was planned. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
that's the thing. Like, we know he'll lie about anything to get other people to think or do what is necessary. Like, and honestly, that's why a bunch of people like didn't actually believe the whole swatting thing. And like, now here's the thing. Did anyone ever actually see the cops during these swatting incidents?
Nope. I didn't hear. I didn't see.
Was there ever a police report?
Not that I know of.
Was there ever any evidence at all? Any actual physical, verifiable, traceable evidence that Tim Pool ever got swatted?
Not that I've seen. No evidence. So you believe that this was just something to get his channel, the how you say algorithm shit?
Maybe. Like, that's the thing, like, because like I didn't see much, but I saw one clip where apparently like they were swatted live, and Tim basically said, "Oh, hey, we're being swatted." It's like it's an annoyance. Like the same way you might comment about the neighbor's dog barking too loudly and messing with your audio settings.
Do you know a streamer called Aiden Ross?
I've heard the name, but I can't make any associations with it.
He's been rubbing elbows with Andrew Tate. He got swatted not that long ago, and even though he was calm, you can clearly see that he was freaking the fuck out. I didn't see that type of energy with Tim Pool when he said he was getting swatted. Because, yeah, being swatted, you will potentially get killed. That's just a fact of life. Who knows? Because once again, if the person that calls in the police to come to your door, they're filling their heads with a shit ton of fucking like, oh, he's holding his wife hostage. He got this big old machete and a shit ton of AK-47s. He's gonna go crazy, man. So the police. What's up?
I've been straight up warned. Like, if you hear a knock at your door and you're on the shitter, don't flush.
Why is that?
Because the cops might think you're flushing drugs.
Agreed.
That turd may be the only thing keeping you out of a prison cell.
Yes, I definitely agree. And
it might also keep them from fucking breaking down your door, too.
And depending on what the person tell the cops, they already have their guns drawn, ready to pull the trigger. So that's why.
Like, if the cops knock on the door and they hear your toilet flushing, they're coming through that fucking door.
Agreed. And it was weird. It was kind of awkward to me that Tim Pool, he's like, I'm getting swatted again. And I seen countless other streamers like fucking shitting themselves because they already know that there's a good chance that the cop can misinterpret the entire situation if they go into their room or whatever, and they can get brass to the dome.
Yeah. No, and then we go with that stuff we heard from his sister yesterday, where he literally says, the cops and FBI are on their way. I need to talk to you right now. So that he can bitch about how she's talking to the former employee. Excuse me, what the fuck? I thought that the cops were on their way, and all you're doing is yelling at your sister for daring to have a conversation with an ex-employee.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's how does that even correlate?
That's the thing. If he's willing to lie about being swatted to his sister so that he can bitch her out, why wouldn't he lie about being swatted to his audience?
I completely agree. And what IY fan says, he says the quartering got swatted a couple times. I do remember that. And every time he was way more angry than Tim ever was. So yeah, that's why I'm like, it's very sus. I will be highly fucking pissed off too if I ever had to go through that situation. I will be
let's be honest. For all it almost sounds like it's the equivalent of pulling the fucking fire alarm at school.
All right, that's a good analogy. Oh shit, that's perfect. That's a great way to explain the situation. God damn, man. Like, wait, hold up. I'm gonna read this right quick. Let go. He says, but Tim is the compromised, counterfeiting, half-based, blue-pilled, cancerous, centrist grifter who wouldn't make up his own mind pool. Yep, I agree.
And that's the thing. I wouldn't even call him a centrist. Because guess what? Like a centrist, like an actual centrist, would hold both political groups accountable for their bullshit. Tim holds one political group accountable and wags his finger at the other one.
I agree. I seen
it. And it just so happens that the political group that he wags his finger at happens to be the people that he hangs out with all the time. Like, you can't tell me that you're a fucking professional fence sitter, you're neutral, it's complicated, we need to look at both sides. Meanwhile, you're hanging out with Antifa on your downtime.
So the general populace say that he's a professional fence sitter, but what you're saying is he's just pretty much, how you say, the control opposition. Okay.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing. Like, he's a fence sitter, but keep in mind, like, but it's not, but the fence is not in the center. The fence is way out in left field.
Right. I agree. I definitely agree with that shit. Yeah. Then now that I'm thinking about it now, yeah, he's definitely not the centrist that he displays himself to be.
Yeah, like all he does is he finds someone more extreme than him and wags a finger of disapproval at them. That's it.
No, this one. Why is it? No, fuck that. Okay. John M says, if the cops know the situation, they do not usually come in hard. If you stream or are worried about swatting, let the local cops know. Sometimes they can put a note on your address. See, but here's the thing, though. The reason that people are worried about the swatting is because people died from the swatting.
Now, but here's the other thing. You're telling me that the cops responded to a swatting how many fucking times in a row in a short period of time?
A shit ton, actually.
A shit ton. And never any like, they never bothered to try to get more information on the person calling. Like, now, maybe it's different in the US.
Right.
But in Canada, you can't even call in a corpse without giving identifying information.
I completely. Once again, nothing against you, John M. We were just specifying on your statement. Okay, like, we're not upset or anything. We just gotta let you know that this situation is very is very fucked up in itself, at least in the United States, because why the fuck is one person, because I have seen it myself, a person that got swatted on multiple occasions, not just one, multiple occasions. I ain't talking about Tim Pool. I'm talking about like people that were on Twitch and shit. Constantly, they literally had people barging into the room with riot gear and all that stuff. The same address, the same one. Why is it the same fucking house? So I agree with Gray when it comes to that one.
Like that's, but like for, because keep in mind like that it is a waste of police time and resources. It's making a false report. Like there should at the very least be fucking consequences that no one gave a shit. And keep in mind, like what as you said, the cops burst the fuck in. Like these people didn't know they were being swatted until the cops in riot gear appeared on camera. But Tim knows when they're what in the front yard or something.
Yeah, that's mad sus. That is like, come on, no, because the cops will not announce like, "Hey, I'm at your house." Like, no, especially if they have calls say like, "Tim Pool is holding his girlfriend in the hostage point. He has a knife to her throat. Please come over." They're not gonna announce themselves. They're going to just go in there like fucking Rambo and shit.
Yeah. Security at security at an entry gate. Like, so what? If you have an entry gate, then you get advance warning that the cops are coming for you.
Yeah, security at a no. Okay, so here's where I say that things are just like kind of iffy because cops will always have authority over security. Security will move the fuck out of the goddamn way for law enforcement.
Like,
Security does not.
you see three fucking cops pull up, you're not gonna go, oh, hello, sir, please state your business and who you're coming to visit. No, you open the motherfucking gate.
Right. And if you interfere, you're going to be in handcuffs. I don't care if you're security.
Yeah, like at most you might take a note, like, hey, a whole bunch of cops came in right now. But you're not gonna fucking be like, hey, Tim, did you order cops for 5 o'clock? Because cops are gonna be there at 4:59.
Agreed. Because if the swatter say some like crazy heinous shit that things are going down in the Tim Pool compound, they're not going to be waiting around and let the security notify Tim that the cops are at the gate. They're not going
to like, hey Tim, it's LAPD. Can you please buzz us in? We're here to SWAT you.
Sorry, I can't. I have my girlfriend at night point. Like, what the fuck? Like, they're not going to do that.
I'm in the middle of something here, officers. Can you give me 30 minutes?
35. No, give or take.
35. That's about as long as it'll take to dissolve the body.
I'm just saying, like, the potholes that situation happened on multiple occasions with Tim. I'm not saying that the cops didn't come over, but it, like, I would say the first time, sure, it could be true, but like for the second, third, fourth, fifth time, that's mad sus.
Well, no, and then of course there's the fucking way that it's handled on top of that, where like he's blowing up, making like, oh yeah, I got swatted. I keep getting swatted. I hate all this swatting shit. It's like, motherfucker. If you don't want, like, all you're doing is telling people that it works.
Exactly. Because the comment from before with the quartering, I remember watching this too. The quartering was beyond pissed to fuck off about what happened. He was, and that's a very understandable reaction to swatting. Because once again, they have live weapons with ammo loaded in there, pointing at your fucking head because they assume that you're gone nuts and you're swinging a machete around. And then if they took it the wrong way, bam, you're dead. Right? Because they assume that you have a machete in your hand, right? So if they go to the room and they're like, "Oh, I see a weapon," but it's actually like your mouse, bam, 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 you're gone.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, it's too. I don't trust it. Like that's the end. For all I know, maybe it is fucking true, but Tim Pool has not proven himself to be a fucking truthful, honorable, upright person. So why the fuck should I believe anything that comes out of his mouth?
I agree. I wouldn't believe shit. But before we continue, chat, if you want to support your boy Sir Yeetus, there's a link on top of the chat. Cash App / Sir Yeetus. Any type of donation is appreciated, okay? But if you can't, it's all good. No big fucking deal. I'm here to do a rant anyway. You know, the money is one thing, but I'm here to expose this crazy shit. I'm gonna let you go first, Gray, and please use different phrasing on this because this is definitely a topic that we need to tread on. Um, what's your perspective? Have you seen the interview yet, or not yet?
No.
Uh, the interview. Let me see.
At
Yeah,
most, I've seen like some of the supplementary stuff, other people talking about it. But
can you read this right quick and can you use different phrases, please?
let's see.
I'll be back. Go
Professional spoiler Alex Jones has been canceled across social media, but this week he still found a loudspeaker.
Wait, where you at? Oh,
I'm right at the very top. I'm just using different words for everything because it's funny.
I was just about to say, but I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. But can you read that column for me?
Yeah, the megastar formerly known as Kanye West joined Jones's truth-telling media platform Thursday for an interview in which he announced his love for small mustache man in the Pinwheel Party. The unbridled dislike of people you're not allowed to criticize immediately captured the attention of the internet. While the content was overwhelmingly called bad names, the interview and the criticism of people you're not allowed to criticize expressed in it still reached millions of people thanks to reposted clips of the interview on the mainstream social media platforms. Now with clips of the interview being uploaded to YouTube, Google told NBC News in a statement that it is working to remove re-uploads of the criticism of people you're not allowed to criticize in the interview isn't denounced in the video if it is not denounced via the added commentary. Other platforms like Twitter have yet to explicitly address that type of spread. Jones is perhaps best known for making controversial statements with inconvenient implications about the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School child disappearance incident, which apparently involved force multipliers. Jones and InfoWars have already been canceled from basically every social media platform that is controlled by certain groups. Jones now hosts his content on his own video platform called Band, appropriate, where broadcasts typically get anywhere from about 10,000 views to slightly more than 1 million views. That's a pretty decent sized platform. But Ye's interview had more than 3.1 million views as of publication. It was already Jones' most viewed video on his platform. Seriously, like, come on, Manic. Let's see if we can get fucking. Come on, imagine the views you'd get on YouTube. Like, that's Alex Jones' shit. Like fucking middle of ass fuck nowhere on the internet.
If you guys are able to get Ye, that would be fucking like wow. Like, I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah. On other platforms, clips of the interview got millions more. They reward the most conscientious content. Is that really the correct word for this? Hold on. I gotta fucking Google shit and maybe criticize this person.
Oh, the person is using the wrong
I need to find. Yeah, hold the fucking phone.
Yeah, basically Kanye did go nuclear. Like, that's pretty much what happened.
Viewers. Oh, contentious. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I thought it was conscientious. No, contentious content. Because people who opposed and engage to express their disgust, their anger, to say it's wrong, and in doing so, platforms elevate that and give it an algorithm boost. Until it's heavy president. Imran Ahmed, CEO of the Center for Countering Digital Hate. Is it just me, or is CEO becoming more and more meaningless?
It's very meaningless, and Elon Musk
Like,
said himself that it's meaningless.
like that's the thing, is like the CEO of the Center for Countering Digital Hate is like, I'm sorry, do you also happen to be a doctor of online hate speech? Do you have a PhD in that? Because I'm willing to bet you could get that.
But this thing that happened right after is very interesting. The fact
Yeah.
that oh,
Yeah,
what's
late
up?
Thursday night, he tweeted screenshots of text messages supposedly sent between him and Elon Musk that showed Musk saying, "Sorry, but you've gone too far. This is not love."
And have you seen the symbol that Ye posted?
Oh, yes, I have. And I think it's brilliant.
Once he left me speechless. Once again, he left me speechless. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because when I saw that, I'm like, yo, what? And okay, here's my question actually, and we're pretty much done with this topic. Hold up. What is what do you believe is Ye's end goal?
Oh, I think that he is taking down the people that are fucking with him to the best of his ability. And the best way to do that is to draw attention to them and to get people talking about them.
So on top of that, I think it was this week or last week where he was ordered to pay Kim Kardashian $200,000 a month in child support, even though she's a billionaire herself.
Oh yeah.
So on top of that, and then on top of the Tim Pool situation, and then on top of the he went on a couple other podcast situation where they pissed off the powers to be, right? I can't name them. Do you think he's just not giving a fuck anymore? He's just like,
Yeah.
you know what?
Keep in mind, like, he knows that any day he could be driving and all of a sudden find that his brake lines are cut.
Which see, okay. Okay, we'll go down that. We'll go down that road because honestly, I'm like, Kanye, you're definitely making some big enemies right now. And I don't think he cares that he's making big enemies at this
That's the
point.
thing. But these people aren't going to just walk away from him. It's not like if he stops, then they're going to leave him alone. He's still going to be in debt up to his ass. He's never going to be allowed the platforms that he was before. Like,
I believe he's going to get
that's the thing.
silenced.
But that's the thing. He's going to be silenced. Period. From the instant he dared criticize the people who stripped away his power, like, it's gonna go. Like, he's gonna go. They're gonna get rid of him one way or another.
That is true. But before we continue, because I definitely want to do a deep dive on this shit.
Yeah.
I have two donations. One of them is from WK. I don't want to say your entire name. Thank you for your generous donation. He says, politics. God damn it, my phone turned off. Politics is what it's what made you stand out from the war band. See, I agree, right? It's not too many times that the war band talks about actual politics. Undead Crying does talk about politics, don't get me wrong, but it's rare. So the fact that me and also Gray, because Gray has been on over half of my live streams at this point, we're willing to talk about actual events, and not just events, but events that affects men in general. I believe that it is a necessary thing to talk about because who else is talking about it? Because when it comes to various things that are talked about in the red pill, MGTOW, manosphere, whatever the fuck it is, they never really want to talk about anything that's on a societal scale. They always want to talk about female nature. They always want to talk about dating. They always want to talk about, oh, oh, she's a 304. Ha ha ha. That gets old very quick. That's why you guys haven't seen me create a Yeetus Thoughts live stream in a couple weeks. Right now, we need to talk about the bigger picture that mainly affects men, not women, not children, not dogs. We need to talk about shit that actually affects men. And right now, the topics that we talk about right now, freedom of speech, and this push for normalization of predatory behavior, I believe that's more important. Do you agree, Gray?
Yeah, because you can't deal with the effects until you can identify and deal with the cause. You're not going to stop bleeding until you identify that there's a knife in you and you need to take it out.
I completely agree with that shit, man. Like at this point, at this point, I believe I said everything that I needed to say, and then we need to branch out and actually talk about the true red pill. Because red pill ain't just about fucking dating. Red pill is about accepting reality for what it is, and then learn how to navigate through this new reality that was bestowed upon you. So that's why I'm definitely going to be focusing on the second channel. The second channel is going to be definitely fun for me. It's going to be very fun because now I'm actually able to talk about some actual serious shit. It's going to be good. But the second Cash App donation from Gold Dalek, thank you very much for your
Probably
donation.
Dalek,
Dalek,
like Doctor Who.
my bad, man. I'm lost in the sauce. Um, he says, hang a shroom over your door and you won't be swatted. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, bro. God damn it. See, I will never be able to escape the shroom shit because
Yeah.
before you came about, the shroomphobe thing was like beyond popular because I remember when I started YouTube, all I said is like I don't like eating mushroom. Like the mushrooms are gross to me, and all of a sudden I got fucking jumped by everybody. Like you shroomophobe. I'm like, oh, you bitches. So no, I'm not gonna hang a mushroom over my goddamn door. Okay, I'll have my Glock ready. Okay, I'll say that. But when it comes to let's get back on topic because I did derail the topic. My bad. When it comes to Kanye at this point, what do you think that will be his near future? Like at least like the next year or two. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I'm putting my money on more and more scandalous shit. Like, I'm sorry, it takes commitment to be in a gimp suit and do an interview.
I still think it was funny though. That was hilarious.
Oh, that's the thing, absolutely hilarious. But that's the thing, like I'm expecting a lot more spectacle.
Really? Like because where else is he going to go? Unless the war band's able to get him for an interview. Where else is he going to go? Like you think he's still going to be invited to like major interviews?
Well, it's kind of the trade-off. On one hand, like I guess like the trade-off is that on one hand you got like, oh wow, he's a big controversy magnet, but on the other hand, the views.
That is
Like,
true.
Like that's the thing. He's the name on everybody's lips. If you post interview with Kanye West, people will stop watching Netflix to go tune in.
I agree because, like we read earlier, Alex Jones had the most views on his channel ever when Kanye joined his podcast. So I agree because it's one thing that you have a certain feeling about him, but it's another thing where you have a shit ton of eyes on you. So I see what you're saying. It's a trade off.
So no, that's the thing. Like people, like they're just gonna see the ad revenue. Like here's like I'm willing to bet that if you had the Super Bowl and the halftime show was an interview with Kanye West, you would have more people watching the interview with Kanye West than the entirety of the Super Bowl.
I 1,000,000% agree because once again, right? Okay, how do I how do I explain? A lot of people they tend to gravitate towards man or woman that speaks on things that the masses are too afraid to talk about. So here's an example, right? Do you know the show The Boys with like Homelander and all that stuff?
I'm aware of it, and I've seen some sections from the comics too.
Okay, I love the TV show. The most recent season, I think it's season 3. He eventually went off the rails, and he spoke his mind. And because he spoke his mind, he was able to gain a huge following. Even though that Homelander killed somebody in front of thousands of people, they still cheered for him. So, if you get what I'm trying to say, chat, is that somebody that was bold enough, courageous enough to speak against the current system, and you know that it's true, people will just like back you up 100% because you're the one that's taking the forefront of the situation, and everybody else is just too afraid to speak on it. So
Well, no, it reminds me of an old psychology test. Well, more so an experiment. So you put a whole bunch of people in a classroom, but everybody but the subject is a plant. Like they're planted there by the testers. And so a question is asked, and the professor asks the class who thinks A and who thinks B. Now, the subject might think B, but
right.
when A is called out, basically everyone puts their hand up, and when B is called out, no one puts their hand up. And so the student, despite being confident that it's B, does not raise their hand to say that I think it's B.
Right.
However, you put someone in the room that does raise their hand to think that it is B, and then they're like, oh, well, I'll raise my hand too.
That pretty much makes it. So do you think it's like mob mentality then?
Yes. It's the same reason that Twitter has a whole bunch of bots, like following and liking certain posts that do a certain narrative. Before Elon came and cleaned a bunch of them out. It's because they were trying to manufacture a false consensus and a false popularity. It is
Yeah.
manufactured consent, manufactured approval. Because if someone sees that, oh, hey, a whole bunch of other people agree with this, they just kind of trust the mob and they'd rather put their faith in the crowd than their own thoughts of maybe things aren't supposed to be like this.
I agree. And what Lusso said, he says, can you imagine Brother Yeetus interviewing Kanye? That would be hella fun. Let's just say that this itty bitty channel will break the fucking internet. And I would definitely have Gray with me too, because you already know Gray rolls with the crew. So it would definitely be. But Gray, are you able to tolerate Ye's statements? Because I know how you get.
No, that's the thing. with some of the shit that I know, I'd probably end up going towards asking questions that might make even him uncomfortable.
Damn, that we can't do
Believe it or not, Edis, there's plenty of shit that I hold back when it comes to these particular kinds of topics.
Yeah, we definitely can't do this shit on YouTube because it won't end well for any of us. It just won't end well. Oh shit! Because I definitely have some controversial questions for him as well. So we definitely, if somehow, some way, I'm able to get a hold of him. I'm talking about like a minuscule chance. If I get a hold of him, it would definitely be something like Odyssey or Rumble. Because ain't no way Susan will be. First off, I assume that Ye's number one enemy is Susan, based on his claims.
Look, I'll be honest. All we have to do is wait for him to get unsuspended from Twitter, and then just go slide into his DMs.
That is true. He did get recently suspended, right?
Yeah, well, because of the whole star and pinwheel thing.
That image still. Ye is the expert on catch you off guard. I'm not gonna lie.
Quite frankly, here's my thing though. I'm like, so you made that in Photoshop? You are good enough in Photoshop to make that?
I wouldn't be okay.
That shit was fucking symmetrical, man.
I wouldn't be surprised because for a majority of his career, he was like a producer and shit, right? So
that's the thing. Like, I'm just like, like that's good Photoshop skills. Did you like bash some images together, or did you actually break out the pen tool here? Because that shit was fucking precise. Like, that's the thing. I'd probably want to go on a brief tangent for the actual creative process as to how he made that, because it's pretty precise. Like, I'm impressed.
I wish, but it would definitely have to be on another platform.
Yeah. No, and Ron gets it too. Seal of Solomon and a sun signal. Because that's the thing. Like, the pinwheel was originally like an Eastern symbol of the sun. Like, and if you took out the context, it's actually quite a fascinating symbol in its own right. And here's the thing. Like, this is the thing with that symbol. What is inherently wrong with it? Because could you not say that it was a sign of peace and unity between two diametrically opposed groups? After all, it's not like there were no star bearers within the Pinwheel Party.
Do you think that was his point, or was he trying to make another point?
That's the thing. I think that he was putting those together to get people to talk about it.
Okay. Because, once again, he's very hard to read. Very hard. Like, Ye is one of the few people I'm like, I do not know what he's going to do next. I really don't. So, the fact that he posted that on Twitter, I'm like, why Kanye? Why'd you post this, bro? Like, why would you even? But as you think about it, it's like maybe he just want people just talk about it, you know? Because
that's the thing. He wants people to talk about the things that they're not supposed to talk about, that they're forbidden from talking about. And by making it, they're talking about what he's doing, then he can get people to talk about it and then also think and ask questions.
See, that's the thing, right? In order to get to the meat and potatoes on various topics, you got to be able to mention controversial situations or controversial groups or controversial people. Why can't we do that? You know?
Oh my fucking God. Yeet, I got to send you this right fucking now.
You scared the shit out of me, bro.
More context. More fucking context.
Well, what context? What?
Look at Discord. Look at Discord right now,
All right,
and
I'm
fucking
looking right
thank you
now
to John M in the chat.
because that you scared the shit out of me right there. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, let me. All right, I'm looking right now. That was the image, right?
That's the image.
Yeah, which I'm like, why? Like
He didn't
that's what
even invent it. He
right,
didn't invent it. He just fucking pulled it from Wikipedia and turned it black.
right. And it's I can't even speak on this because once again, I don't even have enough knowledge on this symbol. But the fact that he had the balls to even post that shit, and the fact that Elon Musk, he was all for free speech and everybody's gonna abandon shit, he immediately banned or suspended Kanye West off of Twitter for posting this. Like, come on, like that has to say something, chat. That's to say so. Once again, if you want to know who's truly in power, look at the group of people that you're too afraid to criticize. I see the symbol. I see it. And he didn't even say anything. He just posted a symbol. That's it. Immediately suspended. So much for free speech, right? So I definitely agree with you saying, Gray.
Yeah, okay. Ron, it's classified as a UFO religion. So this is like the same. He basically posted the Scientology version of the star.
I'm not surprised whatsoever, man. Like, don't get me wrong. Just the design itself, it looks pretty fucking cool. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, like it's a great design. Graphic design wise, like that is fucking chef's kiss. Great. But that's the thing. That's what makes this even bigger because now, like chat, like John M says, like made Elon look like a clown. Like exactly. Now Elon Musk looks like a fool for saying like this isn't love. It's like, dude, posted the symbol of a UFO religion.
You know what? Now that I think about it, yeah.
And you suspended him for that.
Agreed. And once again, at the same time, and I'm talking to chat. At the same time, Elon Musk, he was consistently saying that I'm here to save free speech. So what's up with this shit? What's up with this? Now, don't get me wrong. There's things that are never acceptable, right? Like what the Balenciaga situation, right? That's never acceptable. That I agree.
Like here's the thing. Like I'd say it would be fascinating if you could get a Twitter campaign going that is literally just hashtag free Kanye and this Wikipedia link.
We should because once again, as long as it doesn't involve people that can't defend themselves, right? AKA children. I don't mind the free speech, right?
Because that's the thing. Like if you put, because I guarantee you, if you put hashtag free Kanye and this, you will get people clicking on it and going, "Wait, what the fuck?"
Right, but a lot of people need to understand, right? Especially the leftists, which they will never understand.
Well, they don't want to understand. They just want to validate their own identities. So making them look even more like clowns and threatening their ego is the most damage you can do to them.
Chat, I'm gonna make it perfectly clear, perfectly fucking clear, right? And if you guys disagree, then you don't have to be on this channel.
Fucking, I posted this in
I'm gonna be serious. I'm gonna be serious. If you disagree with this, then I suggest that you get off this channel. Free speech does not mean that you are free from consequences. I repeat, free speech does not mean that you are free from the consequences. I'm sure you guys know what that means, right? You guys know what that means. Say whatever the fuck you want. Say whatever you please. But does not mean that there'll be any type of repercussions. You gotta be willing to accept the repercussions if you're gonna be saying some shit. Right? I'm not saying, oh, you gotta accept outright tyranny, like, oh, let me go ahead and not speak about this crazy dictator or this crazy government. No, what I'm saying is, if you say some crazy shit to somebody, I'm not advocating for violence, but expect some pushback when it comes to verbal rebuttal. All right? Don't be that fucking liberal. Like, he disagreed with me. Let me get my safe space. How dare you? Don't be that motherfucker. Okay? If you want to say whatever you please, go for it. But don't bitch out talking about you're not allowed to disagree with me. You better be ready for some disagreements. Okay? Like, it is out of my fucking realm that people these days, especially adult Gen Zs, they think they can say whatever the fuck they want. That anybody that has any pushback, they're violent, they're extremist. They're on the same equivalency as Al Qaeda. I'm just saying, gentlemen. Like, how much of a bitch you gotta be to even get to that point? Do you know how many discussions and shit that I went through in my life involving politics or anything in general, and the 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 uh the opposition has a different ideology than mine? Neither of us had to get to that point. Oh, I want to go to my safe space, please. Let me go ahead to my safe. How dare you hurt my feeling? No, because I remember that at least 2 times. I think it was 2 or 3. No, I say 2 times. I was debating somebody all fucking night. Of course, you were jigging some good shit, but I was debating somebody all fucking night. Neither of us bitch about it. Neither of us started crying. Neither of us started fucking complaining. We were just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I believe that's how it should be. Because who knows what type of ideology, who knows what type of information we can get from it. What do you have to say about that, Gray?
Well, I think I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Like the argument that you gain the most from is the argument that you lose, because you learn something new and you grow from it. You gain nothing from winning an argument aside from maybe reaffirming your own beliefs.
Do you know how many conversations I've been in when it comes to the 2020 election? Ooh, gentlemen, you just don't know. And once again, me and the person that's the opposition, they're usually liberal. We didn't back down. Neither of us backed down. And that's how I believe that's how it should be. Okay? Like, we need to keep going until we get some type of common ground, or you admit that you're wrong, or you admit that you're right. Like, I hate that safe space bullshit. Like, oh, you hurt my feelings. Leave me alone. Let me go ahead and run out the house like a little girl. Like, it's so stupid to me. I'm serious, chat. It's so stupid to me. It's so dumb. If you can't handle a simple conversation, then you're not ready to be an adult yet. You're not. And even as an adult, in my opinion, if you can handle any type of pushback from your what does Hammerhand said, your morals, principle, ethics, your values, if you can't handle somebody questioning that, then you didn't really have a strong foundation in the first place. What do you have to say about that, Ray?
Definitely. That's the thing. Morals, ethics, values, principles. Like, that's the thing. Like, there's because I was like there. Like, I put down. I categorize some stuff into separate. Like, there's the beliefs, But then below that, as a foundation, is the morals, ethics, values, and principles. Because beliefs, at least to me, are flexible. You believe something typically because of knowledge that you have, information you have access to. And that is filtered through your morals, ethics, values, and principles to determine what your actions are. Like, so
Okay.
I wish that there was a nice way to put an acronym, because having to say morals, ethics, values, and principles, everything, I'm just going to say principles, just as a catch-all for it. So like a belief that I have is that society is that a belief that I have is that people will primarily act within their own personal self-interest above all else. And that if you are to try to manage a large number of people, be it on the scale of a friend group, a company, or even a government, you need to design your system so that everyone is incentivized to pursue their self-interest, and the pursuit of their own self-interest will benefit the group's cause as a whole.
Okay, so I have a question for you then.
Shoot.
Do you believe in agree to disagree? Because there's a lot of how you say gray area when it comes to that. Some people believe that, yeah, two people can say, hey, even though that we have two different beliefs, we can agree. Not how you say, yeah, we can agree about our disagreements and still
Okay.
be good to each other.
No, that's
I'll be right
that.
back.
I
Give me 1
mean,
second.
I guess, yeah. I'll be honest, chat. Like, no, I don't actually think that I can get behind agree to disagree. Because, like, I think back to a particular debate that I had with a philosophy teacher back in college. Like, I'd just been really introduced to libertarianism at the time. And so I went to my philosophy teacher to have a discussion on that kind of society stuff. And then this teacher started asking me questions, finer detail questions, specifically like, well, if everyone in this local neighborhood's going to pay for the road maintenance, what happens to the person who doesn't? And I didn't have an answer for that.
So, are you for the agree to disagree thing?
I
or-
honestly, I can't say yes.
oh, you
I
can't say
cannot.
yes. Okay.
No, because for it to be agree to disagree, honestly, in situations where it's agree to disagree, that's usually because one person is refusing to listen.
Okay. So, okay. Because this happened a few times in my life. You don't. Okay. So how am I going to explain it? You don't have to fully agree what I'm saying, but at least understand where I'm coming from. Well, what do you think about that?
Well, that's better. That's the thing. Like this is one of my principles, and this is why I don't think I can get behind it. Because on principle, I'm all for the logic. Like, I'm willing to change my beliefs, but you have to make a convincing case. You have to basically deal with everything that I throw at you disagreement wise and show how that belief actually aligns with my principles more than the initial, like more than the belief that you are trying to change my mind.
I'm going to sidetrack you right quick. I don't think the chat is understanding what I'm saying. You don't always have to be right, chat. But can you at least understand? That's the big question. You don't have to convince the other person that you're right all the time, 100%. But as long as they're able to see where you're coming from, that's usually good enough.
Here's the thing. I honestly just don't think that most people are even worth the effort. It's like, look, I had a bit of a discussion with like a guy even today where this sort of stuff came out, where it felt like an unbridgeable barrier. But it's because the dude got wrapped up and highly emotional over like something very mild. It's like I can't have a civil discussion with you about it. Just having a handful of sentences back and forth, I can tell that you are too.
That's the question, though. Were you getting pissed off because he wasn't seeing where you were coming from, or he just didn't admit that he was wrong and you were right?
It did not even get to that point.
Okay.
I didn't even allow it to get to the point where it would be an argument because I realized because I can have a couple discussions with the guy as like, look, I know, like in my head, I know that I will never be able to reach this person. And were I to even try to reach them, they would get emotional, they would get spiteful, and I have absolutely nothing to gain by having this discussion with them. Because they don't have a logical foundation for what they believe in. They are running purely on emotion for why they believe it. There's nothing to gain from the discussion. It's only conflict. And they're going to be completely irrelevant to me in any way that could matter for this. So what's the fucking point?
I agree. They only listen to respond, not to learn. So I definitely agree with what you're saying when it comes to that. You can't convince everybody. There's plenty of people out there, especially in 2022. If you don't make them feel good, you're automatically wrong.
Like, again, like this, something I've told this anecdote at least a half dozen times by now. I once got into a multi-day online forum page argument with an AIDS denialist. That is where I learned, look, I'm not going to convince you. I'm not even going to get you to see where I'm coming from. So I don't give a fuck about convincing you anymore. It's about the third-party audience that would come to this thread and read through it to try to get some kind of information or to come to a decision or to just learn about the topic. And that's who I'm making it for. So a one-on-one discussion with someone who's emotionally wrapped up in something that they can't justify and by my principles is absolute bullshit. Like, and just with the AIDS denialist example, these people legit believed that AIDS was a psychological disease that came from watching your parents being struggle snuggled.
See, here's the thing. And I think the chat misconstrued what I'm trying to say once again. I'm not saying to waste your time on people that obviously aren't trying to listen to your point. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm talking about the people that actually wants to have a conversation and actively listening to what you have to say. The big difference is, once again, they don't have to agree what you're saying. They don't have to. That's within their right. But can they at least understand what you're saying? Because I can understand what you're trying to say and still disagree. Because I see where you're coming from with all the points and stuff that you're making, but overall, I still agree because X, Y, and Z. So that's where the agree to disagree comes from, right? I ain't saying everybody can do it, but at least the people that are able to give you a decent debate or argument on certain topics, as long as they're able to come to that conclusion at least, I believe that it is a worthwhile conversation. Because at least they understand where you're coming from. What do you have to say about that, Gray?
I mean, yeah, that's nice. Like, that would be nice and all, but often when it comes to agree to disagree, it's not in those contexts.
Are you
Normally,
talking
it
about people
becomes
that can actually give a conversation, or are you talking
yeah,
about
like
the
those
fucking-
people, like those people don't need to say like people who have an actual conversation like that. They don't need to say, "Oh, let's agree to disagree." No, agree to disagree is a line that's thrown out when you have one or more people who are just too stubborn to even hear out the other side, and they're like, "Fuck it, I can't keep having this debate. Let's just end it."
Well, Red Ranger, okay, from one veteran to another, because I know you're a veteran as well, unless you're still in the military, not that I know of. I definitely understand what you're saying, right? I'm saying that the people, you can tell right away, right in the beginning of the conversation, if they're willing to listen to you or not. Don't waste your time. I agree. Don't waste your breath on people that are just like hard headed.
But then here's
What's
the
up?
other thing.
What's
Like,
up?
sorry for interrupting, but if you're having a discussion with someone who isn't hard-headed, like personally, I don't think the objective should be to get the other person to see your side. Because that is not valuable to me. Instead, if it's someone who is logical, reasonable, and I respect like the ethics, morals, etc. of, then I want to learn from them.
Okay, so how you say, in order to have a very how you say, a society that has a good amount of cohesion, especially in the society in 2022, right? Not back in the day. I'm talking about 2022. The agree to disagree situation is important. I'm not even talking about the liberals, the SJWs, and all that. I'm talking
Here's the
about at least. Oh, what's up?
if I was to summarize it, I'd say not agree to disagree. Instead, I understand where you're coming from. You have to enter into these conversations and debates with your objective being to lose.
Wait, isn't that the same thing though?
No,
I understand where you're coming from.
agree to disagree is declaring a draw where neither of you are right.
Uh, okay. You know what? Actually, you know what? Yeah. So when it comes to agree to disagree, at least with my perspective, I don't think it will be a draw. But it's like, even though what you're saying, you know, like makes sense, you have all the plausible, things to back up your claims. I still don't agree with it because of this and this and this and that.
Okay.
Because once
That's
again,
the thing.
nobody
Think
can
about
100% agree. What was up?
it's a subtle difference, but here's how I'd put it. It's the difference between I don't agree with you and we're not going to see eye to eye on this versus you have given me something to think about. I'm going to process it for a while.
So when it comes to that, do you think that's the biggest issue that we're having right now in our current space? I'm
Yes,
not going
because
to say space.
I guess I'm going to make it, and I know the reason why. Relationships are disposable. No matter how niche your interests, beliefs, personality, whatever, I guarantee you there is someone on the internet right now that matches that, if not a community. And so we have disposable relationships. There's no need for communities to get together anymore. Because if you find a friend who isn't perfect, you just go find another one. It's the abundance mindset. And that's why there's no stable relationships, like, when it comes to any sort of friendship, and no societal cohesion. Because anytime someone is inconvenienced by a social relationship, they just can ditch it and find another one.
You see, that's why the warband is important. That's why the warband, it is what it is, because once again, me and Under Chronic, we had to butt heads on a couple topics, right? But once again, you don't see us arguing, you don't see us bitching, you don't see us moaning. We talk about it one on one, and also, with anybody involved, and we came to the conclusion like, hey, I see you want to do this, and I want to do I want to do that. I see where you're coming from, but I going to have to focus on the warband, and you can go ahead and do your. See, that's a very important skill that needs to be applied to men today, because a lot of men today, they're very emotional about everything. Actually, Under Chronic and I, like, we're cool as fuck. Like, everybody thought that, oh, Sir Yidis, he went rogue. Oh my god, he went crazy. Like, what the fuck? Like, like, nothing happened. Like, nothing happened between us. It's like nothing besides me not being the warband anymore. Everything goes as normal. But not too many men are able to have that capability anymore, able to have that type of conversations, right? Anytime it butt heads, is like, oh, he said this to me, he said that to me. Oh my god, I'm going to tell everybody. I'm gonna go tell the internet. I'm going to tell real life people. This guy's a meanie. He said this to me. He made me feel emotionally bad. And that's what a lot of men go through these days. So I see why a lot of people in the chat are not about the agree to disagree situation, because a lot of men are not capable of that type of mindset. They're not. They just like, oh, you don't like what I'm saying? Okay, you a bitch. You don't like what I'm saying? Oh, let me go ahead and go to my own group, so I can feel good about myself. Like, it's craziness at this point, gentlemen.
Well, that's the thing, because so many, and this has to go with the other destruction of the culture and the destruction of the society, because everything gets broken down. Social bonds get broken down. Like this, I'm going to use Star Wars as an example. So you have Star Wars fans. Very small, very passionate. Star Wars gets more and more popular. As it gets bigger, you get more and more people. You get more and more different people. Eventually, you're going to run into someone who is a fan of that thing that you're a fan of. Like, you're going to find that one Star Wars fan who then starts to tell you all about their Star Wars furry fanfic. Then you're going to start not liking Star Wars as much.
I completely agree. I see people tear each other apart, especially during the prequels of the Star Wars. It got very fucking. It got pretty nasty. Like,
but that's the thing. Like, that's the thing, because these people, like, they don't want people to have those long-term bonds. That's where this whole inclusivity, you have to make it for everyone, have it appeal to the broader audience. not about appealing to the broader audience. It's about making something appeal to the most distasteful fucking freaks, the most antithetical people, so that it belongs to nobody because you fucking ruined it. You ruin something that brings people together. You destroy those bonds, and you force everyone to fall apart. So they don't bond. There's nothing precious to bond over anymore. And so what do people instead end up bonding over? Their relationships. And that's how they identify themselves. They have less and less to identify themselves with. They're given less and less authority. So like they can't even say like, "Oh, well, I own my own business. I'm self-employed. I accomplished this with my own hands." Like, no, you work for these days you work for someone else. You work yourself to death to make someone else rich, and then you die. Like, there's no pride in your own accomplishments anymore. The only accomplishment that people have these days is the approval of strangers.
I agree. The way you put it that way, that's very fucking depressing. Not gonna lie.
And it's entirely intentional.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. I'm gonna address IY fan. He says, "I think we aren't liking the agree to disagree is because of the conservative always doing that, and then compromising with the left and never pushing back against them and want no more." Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah. I can't disagree with that. I can't.
Yeah.
What are the conservatives called again? The silent majority?
Conservatives. Well, yeah, they call them the silent majority. But guess what? That's like saying, at this point, it's basically like saying the pacifist army.
The pacifist. I'm sorry. It just like it sounds like a no. That's definitely an oxymoron. Like
Yeah, precisely. But that's what it is. It's like, oh, well, the majority of people who agree with us, they're just very quiet. Oh, are they going to do anything? Well, no. Then what's the fucking point? They may as well not exist.
I completely agree with that. I definitely agree with that shit. The silent majority nonsense. I'm like, how about we don't be silent? Like, how about we speak back against this bullshit? And IY fan, yeah, I definitely agree because once again, just because how you say, just because you agree to disagree doesn't mean that you have to fall back on your own, principles. And that's what the conservatives have a huge issue of doing. They're always trying to compromise. You should never compromise. So, well,
That's the thing.
it,
Like, it's one thing. Like that's where I separate the beliefs and the principles. You can compromise on your beliefs as long as they align with your principles. But you should not compromise on your principles.
completely agree because at that point, like you already know the famous saying, you know, if you don't stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything, and
And
that's
that's exactly
fucking
it. Like,
true.
people today don't have those principles, and so they're just going with whatever the social approval is, whatever their friend group is, whatever the most prominent person in their life, because they don't have a principle to stand on, because their life is just seeking approval from people.
I agree. And Red Ranger, he's on point today. Red Ranger, I want you to be a guest on my stream sometime this week because I know you're a veteran. I'm a veteran. You know, you speak some real shit. We all speak some real shit. So definitely hit me up on Discord. Yes, gentlemen, I have a Discord. So if you haven't joined my Discord yet, go join it. I have the link on my other channel. I don't have it here. God damn it. Uh I'll definitely give you guys the link right now. Give me 1 second. Do 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 do. Here, copy. Hold up. Okay, I should be good. Hold up. Paste. So if you guys haven't joined my Discord, here's the Discord right here. I just started it today, and Gray doesn't know, but he's pretty much a mod as well. So go ahead and join because this is going to be for Yeetus News and Sir Yeetus channels. Because Gray, you were here earlier. No, you weren't here earlier. I already specified that I pretty much explained everything that I need to explain when it comes to the female nature. We need to broaden our horizon and talk about real shit. I'm sure Gray agrees.
Well, that's the thing. That's part of why I'm still trying to find ground in my own channel. Because, like, what specifically can I talk about that, like, is actually relevant? Because, like, the female nature stuff is like, I feel like a broken record.
I agree.
Like there's already Chronic and Ribby, and that's like just the Warbanders alone. Like there's more things that guys need to know, and thankfully I've managed to get a bunch of guests to have more interesting discussions with.
Well, I'm gonna keep it real. You know about Think Before You Sleep?
Yeah.
I'm not saying to go for over an hour, but are you able to get to that type of quality when it comes to content? Where he like breaks it down Barney style, like any situation, right? Not a general topic, but you know, you see a video that you want to break down. You know, you're able to get to that point. So like, let's
Well,
say
going by some of my cult, like, let me put it this way: if someone sent me a video and asked me to put it under a microscope and dissect it, I could probably go for several hours.
all right, that would be fucking insane if you did that.
like that's the thing. Like someone like if I mean yesterday, like basically I can make 4 minutes of content for every 1 minute of a video.
Well, I say that you definitely have the capability at least to release a video once a week or once every 2 weeks and have a very detailed video about a certain situation.
The other thing is like you've seen my editing. Like you have seen how insane my editing stuff gets. So
Yeah, it gets out of control.
it's not a fast process. Like I'm still trying to edit down my Elden Ring stream from last week, and like I mean I can cut it down by 80%, and I still think there's more to cut because like if I'm trying to do a highlight reel, I don't want it to be like 30 minutes to an hour long.
Well, that's why I say that you definitely have the potential to get to Think Before You Sleep levels because there are plenty of people out there that appreciate content that's at least like 30 minutes long.
Yeah, so I could like you've probably seen some of the shorter stuff I did with just like some scripted stuff for a minute or two, and then the slide transitions. Like, I do really try to stay away from anything that could be copyrighted content, because I'm paranoid about getting freaking strikes or demonetized or shit like that.
But if it's fair use, you know, it should be an issue, right? Like if you react to like a minute or two of a certain topic, because I think fair use is like up to 10 minutes around there. It's a long story, but at the end of the day, gentlemen, the only reason that this channel exists is because we definitely need to branch out. Okay, like Once again, do you know how many hours goes into 200 live streams? Just imagine the hours that me, Gray, Rishi, Chronic, etc. that we put in. I can only say so much about the female nature before it just sounds stupid. We need to actually branch out and move on, right? I made a stream earlier saying move forward. We need to move forward from this shit because after you notice that in this current manosphere, it's just nothing but drama at this point because they have nothing else to talk about. Nothing else. It's just drama, drama, drama on top of drama. Oh, AWOL, and then drama again, drama again. It's beyond annoying at this point. There's only a select few channels that still keep the eye of the ball and talk about male issues, but in general, the manosphere is pretty much the male version of Desperate Housewives.
Sorry, I just did the math right there, Yidis, and I think 200 live streams at an average of 3 hours a live stream comes to about 25 solid days of content.
Damn, I got no life.
Like you can literally sit down at midnight on December 1st and marathon Yidis, and Santa would show up before you were done.
Oh God, I don't regret it whatsoever because, chat. Once again, I'm very passionate about this shit. I'm very passionate. So once again, I could have went the easy route and did paywall, pump paywall, pump paywall, and done all this other but no, because how is that helping men if I have a shit ton of my content behind paywall? That's fucking dumb. That's stupid. That's disingenuous. So, Red Ranger, he says, I got a strike last week for one of my videos on Fat Accept. Red Ranger, have you heard of John Burke? Red Ranger, let me know. Let me know if you know John Burke, because he's a veteran as well. He was one of the first to actually speak on fat acceptance back in 2015. And he's been very vocal, right? He's been on talk shows and shit. So let me know if you heard about the veteran John. Oh, he has. Okay. John, yeah, he's fucking hilarious. He is, but when he's serious, he is definitely serious. I completely forgot that he's also a drill sergeant. He used to be a drill sergeant as well. And I agree. In my opinion, there is no excuse to be overweight. What do you have to say about that, Gray?
As a dude who fucking struggles to bulk, I have no idea how people get overweight.
Unless it's like medical purposes, which there is instances where it's very difficult for somebody to lose weight. Okay, bam, exception to the rule. But in general, you should not be overweight. That's on you. Calories in, calories out, and actually being active. If you're overweight, then that's on you. Don't blame the the US has a lot of processed foods, or I don't feel like going to the gym today. You're a lazy fat fuck, in my opinion.
No, no one's forcing you to eat the fucking processed foods. In fact, I'd say that you're actively disincentivized from eating the processed foods because it's more expensive. I mean, have you seen how much a meal that's the thing, make a theoretical combo meal at McDonald's. Then go to the grocery store and see how much food that would buy you, and then tell me that fast food is cheap.
Oh, if you eat at fast food, gentlemen, once again, like Red Ranger knows as well, we're both in the military. Sometimes we don't have time to eat. So imagine going to the fast food place almost every day, at least once a day. The prices adds up. It's expensive. It's expensive. And when you go to the actual grocery store with the same amount of money, bro, you're good for the entire month. I'm talking about single men that are by themselves, like no family, nothing. If you're by yourself If you use the money that you go to fast food for, and then you use that money for groceries instead, you're completely set. You're not gonna go hungry for the next month.
Yeah, like let me put it this way: if I take $20 to a fast food place, I eat for a day, like really, like more an afternoon. If I take $20 to a grocery store, I eat for at least half a week.
Agreed. Even though inflation is a piece of shit, eggs are still cheap in comparison. So eggs that will literally cover your breakfast alone. And then for lunch, you get white bread or wheat bread, depending on what kind of bread you want. And then get some lunch meat, and then a couple of condiments. Bam, that's your lunch. And then for dinner, right? If you're going for cheap, you got rice, and then you could buy a bunch of uh, chicken. Chicken is still cheap in comparison.
Yeah,
So
like, I mean, like, for me, like ground beef, pasta, tomato paste, especially if you get some of that stuff when it's on sale. Cook it up, put it in Tupperware, toss it in the fridge, bam, you're set. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever. You can eat freaking cooked pasta with sauce and tomato paste at any temperature.
and once again, I'm not saying that groceries are cheap, but in comparison to going to fast food every day, groceries are dirt fucking cheap. It took me years. It took me years to figure that out. Because once again, I'm here, I'm making good money. I don't have to worry about various bills. I'm out there living my best life. I didn't even have to worry about groceries like that. But
Like
now,
and
oh, what's up?
and like yeah, and like dollar $20 don't go far these days. I can walk into a grocery store, get ground beef, pasta, and sauce, like enough to last at least 3 days, depending on how thinly I ration it, but it can comfortably last 3 days. Go in with a 20 and I'll be walking out with some change.
Because a lot of you guys, you focus on name brand stuff. You focus on the quote unquote quality. I don't even think name brand shit sometimes have quality. But when you're starving, everything tastes good. So it wouldn't matter if it was name brand or not. I'm sure that if you're trying to stretch that $20 out, you'll go for the non-brand items. And the non-brand items, you wouldn't care, right? Because you're hungry. You're trying to eat. And believe me, I've grown up with non-brand items. I've grown up with that shit, especially government cheese. So I still believe in 2022, if you're by yourself, I'm talking about a single man. I ain't talking about family. If you're by yourself as a single man, you can still stretch out those $20. Right? Worst comes to like shit, I got a shit ton of ramen in my goddamn uh, uh in my kitchen right now. Just in case. I don't eat it every day. It's a just in case situation. A lot of people they want to have all the most expensive foods and high quality stuff. First off, they're fucking lying to you about that shit. Second, when it comes to eating food, at least me, I see it as a energy. It fuels the body. I don't really focus per se on, oh, does it taste good? Oh, does it is it good high quality noodles? Blah blah blah. No, as long as your body is getting enough nourishment, that's all that matters. Yeah, you can enjoy your food. Don't get me wrong, but in the overall situation, it shouldn't be solely enjoyed. You're just trying to fuel your body. That's it. Nothing more.
Well, now I will say this though: the quality of the food does matter if it affects digestion. Like, I'll give a thing: brown rice, cheap as hell. It looks the exact same at either end. So, no, it's fucking useless so far as trying to get actual nutrition out of it.
Yeah, I always go for the white rice, and people come at me about, oh, why you eat the white rice? You go get the the brown rice, man, is much more healthier. Like,
It's
not
healthy
really.
because it's fucking negative calories. You get nothing out of it, but your body still has to use energy to process it, or at least
Empty,
try to process it.
yeah, just empty calories. That I'm like, no, like it makes it. Don't fall for this bull. See, I know I'm about to go into this conspiracy bullshit, but have you played a game Assassin's Creed?
I've beaten the first two. I got a good chunk of the way through Brotherhood and Black Flag. I never played 3 or any of the ones after that.
Okay, I stopped at Assassin's Creed 3. That's where I stopped.
Yeah. Oh,
But
you missed out on Black Flag, dude.
yeah, I
I'd
did.
say that Black Flag is what I would say the most fun Assassin's Creed.
Damn, I'm gonna have to check it out then. But when it comes to me bringing up Assassin's Creed, the motto that stuck with me, I was only like what, 12, 13 at the time. Not everything is true, everything's permitted.
Yeah, nothing is true. Everything is permitted.
Close enough. I can't remember a fucking
You're talking to a guy.
17-year-old quote.
You're talking to a guy who cosplayed Altair multiple times. Okay.
But that quote definitely stuck with me even as a child, because that definitely, how do you say, broadened my horizons. Like it like unlocked something in my brain. Like it's like discovering sliced bread type situation, because as you think about it as an adult, is that quote truly wrong?
Well, that's what I think. That's something that the first Assassin's Creed game got right, whereas the rest of them never really recaptured it, and it's why Assassin's Creed 1 is still my favorite Assassin's Creed. Because beyond the mechanics of the assassinations in particular, which I really liked, and a lot of the mechanics for hiding in plain sight, more so, it was like there was a very clear arc of character development for Altair. He starts off as arrogant.
I was just about to say arrogant. I was just about to say it.
That's the thing. He starts off as arrogant, and he needs to be humbled and relearn what the motto makes, because it is something that is very easy to misinterpret. And he has to go through that journey, restarting, metaphorically building himself back up from the nothing that he is reduced to, because he's basically fucking killed by his boss initially and then forced to start over from zero.
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real. The early Assassin's Creeds was very. I'm gonna be that guy. It was very Masonic. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
You
so
literally
it
have,
wasn't just me.
oh, God, you literally have the fucking Templars and the Hassassin, two secret organizations secretly fighting for dominance of the world. It is absolutely filled with Masonic undertones.
Okay, so it wasn't just like, okay, it wasn't just me. Like, I'm like, bro, like, it, okay, how do I explain it? That game, in my opinion, if you played it, more likely than not, broaden your horizon, especially as a child, right? As an adult, yeah, whatever. But as a child, you're like, whoa, like what if this is happening right now in real life? And now you're questioning everything, you know. That's why, yeah, I love Ezio, right? Ezio, phenomenal assassin, but the very first game with Altair is the best one because it definitely made you think.
Like, that's the thing. But the story was also all about Altair and his character. Like, he had a very simple character arc. He went from arrogant to humble to wise. What exactly was Ezio's character arc? And he had 3 games to have a character arc.
He was also, you know, arrogant. He came from a rich family, you know, and he loved women. I mean, he loved women. And eventually, at what was the third installment again? What was it called? Fuck.
Uh,
I forgot the name. Assassin's Creed Revelations.
Revelations.
Um, I was confused. I'm like, why did he stop once he found the tomb of Altair and he found the was it the apple of Eden or something like that?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
why did he all of a sudden stop? He says like I had enough for one life. Like he just automatically like just like I'm done. And, like do you blame Altair for even doing that? Because he's been on this quest ever since he was 17 years old.
It's yeah. No, that's the thing. I never played that one specifically. I played 2 and I played Brotherhood. I missed out on Revelations. I didn't play 3, and then I played Black Flag. So, but that's the thing. Like I never like thinking with all the stuff with Ezio. Like he never had a character arc.
Well,
From what I saw, like
Revelations brought it together. It definitely brought it together.
Yeah, that's the thing, but like from what I played of the first 2, like his character arc just didn't. I didn't feel it. Whereas with Altair, it was very much I know his character arc. It's simple.
But with Ezio, he pretty much revived the assassin community.
That's the thing. Like, there's the things he did, but that's not his character arc.
Well, his character arc was pretty much. How do you say? He went from just like an arrogant kid, like just doing whatever, like oh look at me, like I'm Ezio, to a very mature. It's hard to explain if you didn't play Revelations, but there's definitely an arc there. There definitely is.
Well, that's the thing, but he grew up and he got old and like shit happens, but that's the thing. But it's not really.
Oh, just let you know, Altair was in Revelations as well. Just put it out
there. Yeah, he was, but Revelations wasn't about Altair and his character growth. Like Altair's arc had already happened.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that he had an arc in that game, but he definitely played a part in Ezio's development.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like the point I'm trying to make is that the first game had a clear character arc that very much drove the motivation of the story. Ezio might have had one, but it was definitely far weaker than Altair's. I have, like, from what I've played of 4, I got no clue what Kenway's arc is. It's just like the protagonists don't feel like they're really driving things forward so much as things are happening and they're getting swept along with them.
See, with the trilogy with Ezio, and on top of that, they had to make a short film to end his story. I do agree, because they still had to add something even after Ezio's story was over. They had to add a short film where Ezio was close to his death. So,
yeah, so that's the thing. They lost the focus on the characters because they were more so about showing all sorts of historical stuff and making a bunch of pretty landscapes.
Hey, I thought the Pope was a great antagonist.
Oh yeah, Cesare Borgia. Yeah, like the Borgia's great.
And it won't defeat the first antagonist. And that antagonist, I felt so betrayed. I felt so betrayed.
Well, that's the thing, because you crack open a history book, he didn't die from that.
Right, but it's just like, the person in the first Assassin's Creed game, he was supposed to be like your father figure, your mentor. And then I think like more than halfway or near the end of the game, turns out that he was the main enemy. Oh, man. Oh, my heart was broken. I'm like, E2 Brute. Like, I'm like, God damn, bro. I don't know. I love the first Assassin's Creed was on point. I loved it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, but it was simple, it was short, and it was self-contained. Whereas, like the rest of them, they didn't really care so much about having the specific characters. Like Ezio, yeah, he gets a lot of screen time, and he's got like the nice quips, but that was really the last major character. Like, is like, despite future Assassin's Creed games having their own assassins, every time I see some sort of collab with like Brawlhalla or some gotcha game that I played, it's always Ezio. That's the guy who they bring in as the face of Assassin's Creed. There's no Kenway, there's no Connor, there's no whoever the fuck are in the later games.
But let's keep it real, though. Ezio had the most personality.
Yes.
So that's why people gravitate to him the most.
Well, I'd say Ezio was the most charismatic.
That, yeah, he was definitely charismatic. I'm gonna read this right quick. I'm heading out, man, but I'll hit you up on Discord about coming on the stream. Check him. Yeah, just hit me up, man. I'm definitely down for that. Who was in Assassin's Creed 3? I forgot his name. Fuck.
Connor something.
That I don't know. Like, he didn't resonate with me. Like, he didn't really keep my attention. I was more interested in his father than Connor. Like, he didn't really capture my attention. I was way more focused on the antagonist, his father, than actual Connor.
Yeah, and then honestly, Kenway from Assassin's Creed Black Flag, like, he's kind of cool, but that's really all he's got going for him. But personality-wise, I could not tell you anything. Like, once he puts on the assassin's robes, he's just kind of swept up in the plot, and it's like a dude who he basically tries to pull a con and then just ends up in way over his head.
I agree. Give me 1 second. Hey, Chad, what in the fuck are you guys talking about right now?
I think they're talking about how to get food after shit hits the fan.
That is the most random comment. Don't get me wrong. Go ahead and continue the conversation, but I look at this comment like shark-based great tacos. Like, what the fuck?
I think that they started on the whole seafood conversation, and then they got into fishing after shit hits the fan, and now they're discussing various recipes.
Okay, it was just like a random comment I saw. I'm like, why are y'all talking about making sharks into taco? Like, what the? Like, come on, don't act like it's common. Like, this was definitely something random.
Yeah. No, honestly, so you know how you said this would be a 1 hour stream tops?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that this was gonna happen, so I'm not upset, but I just think it's funny.
I saw the timer at around 1 hour, and I was ready to end it, but the conversation was just too fucking good. I couldn't stop. Goddamn. But do you have any closing statements when it comes to the Balenciaga scandal or the Ye situation?
I'd say, first off, thank you, John M., for pointing out realism. I am going to hold on to that shit and see if I can't get it used somewhere, because that's fucking funny. So thank you. And this thing, if we are going to even begin to push back against some of this stuff, you have to be willing to use the tactics of your enemy against them. And that means, like, if you see someone who's associated with this Balenciaga stuff, or someone who's even tangentially related to it, you got to think, what would my enemies do? Like, I'll be honest, what would a leftist do if this was a brand openly endorsed by Donald Trump, and you wore that brand out in public? how would you be treated by those people?
Shit, you'd be elbow dropped.
That's what you need to do to these Balenciaga people. You need to treat them the same way that they would treat you if you were wearing like a fucking MAGA hat.
Especially in California. It's
Now, I'm
never
not
been
saying like go out and commit random bouts of assault because that'll get the cops on you.
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about it.
But if you call someone a nasty name and give them stink eye, like if you openly scowl at someone and whisper venom, yeah, guess what? That'll be effective. I don't care if they're fucking innocent. I don't care if they're completely ignorant because they wouldn't care.
I completely agree. They don't want you to speak up. They don't want you to have standards. They don't want you even fucking existing, right?
Like call these, like straight up call, if you see someone like liking Kim Kardashian, call them the P word.
Because remember, gentlemen, they're still in business. They're still booming right now. That's the scary part.
You see someone with a Balenciaga bag, call them out on it. Call them out as supporters of the P word.
I completely agree. Because this,
just straight up say they market towards P's.
yeah,
They market to like that is their target audience. You consume their product, you must be a P because that's who their audience is.
and just to close this out, gentlemen, we're living in scary times. When I mean by scary times, not for us, not for us men. I talk about scary times for the future generations that that is advertised that this type of situation is okay. I am very, very concerned about the upcoming generations because they have to deal with mainstream predatory behavior where these creepy fucking adults are not afraid anymore on what they're trying to do with underage kids. And that is scary in itself. I never had to grow up with that. Gray, I don't know if you had to grow up with that. I know it existed.
That's there was always the shadow of the threat, and there were a lot of, like, I remember multiple times people being brought into the schools to give public talks to the kids about the dangers of that kind of stuff and how they'd personally been through it.
Agreed. Like, I'm not saying that this predatory behavior never existed till now, but they definitely had their feet to the fire, the foot on their necks. On if you even try to do this shit, there will be very serious consequences, whether it be thrown in prison because you'll definitely eventually die in prison, or there'll be vigilante justice.
Like, at the very least, you could criticize them in public and trust that no one would jump to their defense. Nowadays, you can't be certain that people wouldn't get upset over criticizing these people.
Agreed. And now you got major companies putting these type of advertisement out there that I can't even fucking explain.
Again, if it was let's put it very simple. Like, here's our, if those pictures contained adults instead of children, then they'd be on OnlyFans.
Agreed. Because even as adults, they wouldn't allow this to be like mainstream fucking put on billboards and all that shit. No, they will definitely be on some OnlyFans shit. So the fact that this situation is happening and the fact that it got approved by multiple people eventually had to go to headquarters for them to approve this type of situation. Keep a close eye on the youngins that are in your family, gentlemen. Because
like,
they're the ones
quite frankly, if you catch a family member with that level of stuff, be concerned for their children.
be very fucking concerned, gentlemen, because at this point, I truly believe that when it comes to society, we are at the end game. We're at the end game. I'm still going to do my thing when it comes to, content stuff. But I will say right now, with my opinion, and I believe in it 100%, we are at the end game of society today. And I don't think never in history, except like Sodom and Gomorrah or Rome or wherever it is, that we got to this levels of degeneracy. It's going to get crazy, gentlemen. So definitely buckle your seatbelts and do what you have to do when shit hits the fan. So I'm not trying to be a pessimistic, but I gotta give you guys the truth. Right. If it's not the truth, at least my solemn opinion. Are you good to go, Gray?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, gentlemen, it's your boy Sir Yidis and Grey Ghost. Thank you for joining Yidis News. It was definitely very productive, and I see you guys are productive yourselves in the chat, right? Because I was talking about making shark tacos and shit, right? The fuck? Anyway, hopefully you enjoy the gems that we dropped on you guys, and we'll definitely see you guys tomorrow if Gray has time. We are out. Peace.
Peace out.